This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
So I was cutting Amy's hair the other day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with this because it's funny.
Okay.
And she had a t-shirt on, and I was like, well, I don't want you to get it wet, and I need you to wet your hair down. And I was like, do you just want to borrow one of my t-shirts? And we were just talking about how her husband's in the military. I was like, oh, I got a military shirt for you. I was like, I'll give you this Navy shirt.
Yeah.
She's like, what's this? A memento? And I was like, maybe. She's like, you guys should talk about that on the podcast. Do you guys have mementos from past liaisons? And I was like, it's so funny because I dated a Navy diver for like a 5 hot seconds. Very hot seconds. My husband's downstairs, so
gave her one.
But I mean, like a long time ago, and I've still always had this stupid shirt.
That's funny. I don't
so
think so.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it in any way. I just don't think I do.
I have the sad box in the back of my closet.
Oh, but that was a long relationship.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That was
like
a marriage.
life.
It's different.
This was like a.
I'm trying to think. I right now I have a toothbrush in my cabinet that's not mine.
Oh,
but that's for somebody that's visiting.
But that's current, right?
That's current. Yeah.
I don't think I do.
I mean, you wouldn't keep it after you left.
I don't know. That
would
be
you?
weird.
You keep it in a plastic bag in your drawer, like saving your saliva forever. Maybe I can clone you someday.
Oh my god! But maybe.
No, I mean, I remember. The only thing I can think of, like, I'm thinking about things that people gave me, and like, did I hold on to them? And I remember one time, this guy that I was kind of seeing whenever I was like 19, and he like left to go to college, and like was kind of, I mean, he was like a teenage boy and like kind of like weird about leaving. And of course, like I was like kind of attached, and he had bought me a bracelet on vacation at one point.
Right.
And I was like mad at him. So he was gone. He was in college in another state. And I like drove to his house, and his little brother, who was like 16 or 17.
Oh God, I want to see like little angry Keegan.
Yeah, in my Jeep Wrangler with the windows off, like driving aggressively. Like,
oh no.
And I got there, and I like, it was so passive aggressive, like dumb teenage girl move. I like gave the bracelet to his brother, and I was like, I don't want this anymore.
Oh.
And his brother was like, don't do this. He was like 17, and he was like, Keegan, don't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is dumb.
Oh, no.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, I don't think I have anything.
I just thought of something. I actually did keep for the longest time. I threw it out not that long ago. So this came into my head. Back in the early days of Facebook, MySpace, like all that stuff, chatting with a guy that I just fell head over heels for. And he was like a writer. We wrote back and forth to each other for like 3 years.
Oh my God.
Poems, emails, love notes, crazy stuff. And I, at one point, printed all of it out.
Oh,
made like a book, binded it.
It was, no lie, over 300 pages.
Oh my God.
And
well, 3 years.
Yeah, I kept it. I kept it for a long time. And, you know, it was like weird to like read through it and be like, it would give you like an ego boost. Like, oh, somebody at one point like really
thought this
liked
about
me.
me.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
I mean,
finally, like, I was like, this is dumb. I just
It's
get rid
time
of
to
it.
dump
This
this.
is like really weird to keep this stuff.
I think if I kept anything, which I don't think I have, but if I was like prone to keep anything, it would be like
Notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or something like that.
I fancy myself as a non-hoarder, somebody who gets rid of everything, but I still have like a handful of notes from like friends from high school, like a handful of letters that one of my really good friends was in the Marines, and he and I would write back and forth. No, we weren't dating, we were just friends. And so I have a handful of those kind of letters.
That. I think it's such a snapshot in time. I remember like my mom showed me a letter or like a note that someone had passed her in class, or she had passed to someone in class and still had. And it was like so cool because it it was like a snapshot of my mom in high school.
Right.
Like it gave me a feel for, even her writing was different because like bigger and bubblier, you know, because it was high school. And it gave me such a feel for like who she was at that time, because it was the 80s, and she said something about like, I only love you for your MTV or like whatever. And I'm like, this is the
awesome.
And so I think I do in my mom's house, I think I do still have like a bag of notes people passed me, or like that I passed
That's
people.
amazing, because you'll look at those when you're 80, or your grandkids will look at them.
This is who you were at that time.
That's really cool.
The elaborate way you folded your note that you passed to someone. Totally. You basically learned origami to like pass notes to people, and it gives you like a little clue of like catchphrases of the
little
time.
Football one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, the little football one. Or like all of my notes at that time, like in middle school and high school, ended with a giant S, and then off of the S it would say "Sorry, so sloppy."
Oh my God!
I swear to you, I think I have a letter like that downstairs. Oh my God,
because
or you'd make the S that was like the
like
little,
3 lines, 3
lines.
lines.
Oh my God. Where did that come from, and why did we all
and where
draw
did it
that?
go?
I think there's like an Ancient Aliens about that S. I'm not even lying. There's like some YouTube videos that you can watch about that S.
Obsessed. I wrote on my desk in like mechanical pencil, and it was always like fucking that little S everywhere. Why?
Yeah. Why? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Seriously, it's like the simulation.
That's so interesting.
I still have at my work desk, I kept because this Valentine's Day was like my first Valentine's Day, and handyman actually like snuck into my carport late at night and put a card and a rose on my car, which was really funny because like my baby brother had gotten me like a bunch of flowers and also put them on my car. So like,
you're like, so many gifts.
Wait, what's happening?
I like come out, my like car is adorned.
What if handyman came second, and like
handyman did come
so
second,
he sees
and
all these flowers and he's like, what the fuck?
Yes. Yes.
Like, and he's like got one rose, and he's like, well, I guess I'll just leave this then.
That's exactly what he did. That's like so funny.
I was like, oh, they were from my brother. And he was like, oh, okay. But it's like really funny. Must have, come there at like 4 a.m. before work. And then it's like, oh, somebody's already
somebody beat me to
here.
this.
It makes you look desirable. You shouldn't have said that it was from your brother. You're like, I have other options.
Exactly.
I have suitors.
On your toes, man. On your toes.
Keep you on your toes.
But yeah, I still have that card and that rose
sweet.
at my desk at work. And it's just like, it makes me smile.
That's
so,
super sweet.
I'm down for mementos.
Okay, so do we want to do some shout outs for patrons?
Yes, we definitely should.
Okay, so first of all, I feel like I'm obligated to say this first, that Anthony joined our Patreon.
Yay!
My fiance, which
Your fiance
still makes me feel weird saying that. Does that ever get not weird?
No,
always weird.
Always weird.
Cool.
I used to call Chris my fiance. Which was funny because I made more money than him. So
he's my finance.
He's my fiance.
Financier. But yeah, so Anthony joined our Patreon. He is now, accessing all of our really cool content, which is very fun.
He actually brought some up the other day, last night when we were all out, and he was like, "Oh my God, that video and this and that." I was like, "That's so funny." And then Chris was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "He goes, well, I guess you'll have to be a patron."
Oh,
he goes, "Well, I have first class seats to the whole show." So
I mean,
I'm like, but you didn't see this.
Yes, we're gonna start doing videos and recordings like in another location just so Chris can't hear it.
There you go.
Take that, Chris.
And we also want to give a shout out to Michelle. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon.
Just such a sweet lady.
Well, I mean, she's been a
listener from
very
the beginning.
Yeah.
And she engages on every platform.
Everything,
she engages all the time on our Facebook group. And so we've so enjoyed you submitting your stories in. It's been fantastic. So thank you so much, Michelle.
She's a patron on every level, really.
Yeah, she really is. She's a supporter of the pod.
Yeah.
And also, we wanted to give a shout out to Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Sarah.
much for joining us on Patreon.
Yay! We love it. We love it. We love it.
And if you want to hear your name on the podcast, then join us on Patreon. Just $1 a month gets you a shout out and all of our cool bonus content. So consider it.
Our
we were just talking about that.
Gratitude.
I'm like, I lose $3 on a daily basis, let alone in a monthly basis, probably.
I know. I have so many subscriptions.
The amount of change in my car that has been sitting there for like a year or more definitely adds up to at least $3. So $1 a month, I guarantee you guys you won't miss it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it for more fun content if you enjoy the show.
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm fucking sick of you guys and I only want to hear you once a week, in which case we get it. Just stick to this.
But if you're not like that, go to patreon.com/myworstdate and help us out.
Yeah,
really
yes. We've got big things coming down the pike. I'm very excited. We've got plans for live shows, so stay tuned.
Yes. Are we going to talk about that crazy fucking article?
I think it's necessary that we do.
Oh my God.
Yes, I think it's necessary that we do.
List of ridiculous things.
I couldn't stop laughing. Are you kidding?
Oh my God. The whole thing is just ridiculous. But someone posted to our Facebook group.
It was me.
Oh, Cassie did.
Yeah.
Yes. She posted this article from a McCall's magazine from 1958. It was advertised an article titled 129 Ways to Get a Husband.
Oh,
and
my God.
Oh,
wow.
So many.
I want to say it did not disappoint, but at the same time, it was so disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so it's 1958. You want to find a husband. You can do tips like sit on a park bench and feed the pigeons.
That always gets a guy.
I liked number 6. Read the obituaries to find eligible widowers.
Oh my God.
Can we let the paint dry for a second?
You're just circling like, he's cute. Oh, he works in finance.
This guy sounds right.
Oh my gosh. It was, I also liked number 19, get lost at football games. Oh my God.
Get lost at football games. It's fun until you're actually lost, and then you're like, fuck.
I just can't find my seat.
Or number 34, wear a Band-Aid. People always ask what happened.
I like number 31, stumble when you walk into a room that he's in. Because I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't need a list to tell me to do that.
Oh,
That's just me on a daily basis.
Right.
My all-time favorite one, though, out of this whole list of 129 just ridiculously old school shit, is just cry softly in a corner.
Yes.
I mean,
He'll come ask you what's wrong.
No, he won't.
no.
Cry the wrong person
softly
will come ask you
in
what's
a
wrong.
corner.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for John to notice I'm crying.
My favorite one, though, is my friend actually was like, we should try drinking with your girlfriends first.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, practice drinking with your girlfriends first so you know, like, your tolerance, I guess. But you know what? There are some on this list that make no sense. Like, number 58, get a sunburn. Why? What purpose does that?
Yeah.
Is that attractive to men and I just didn't know?
I mean,
We
write
need a poll.
into the podcast and let us know. Are sunburns hot in some way?
Yeah.
Like sexy?
Does that make you want to approach a woman?
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
understand.
That sunburn, girlfriend.
And there's no explanation. It's just get a sunburn, period. I don't understand.
We had a friend that posted, and you've got to join the Facebook group to see her post. She was able to work in like 60 of these different things into a long form story.
Yeah, maybe do this and then this.
Oh
and also
my
while
God,
doing this
it's
other
just
thing.
So funny.
So funny.
So shout out to Lori. That was hilarious.
Yeah, if you guys want to read the rest of this list, join our Facebook group and find this post, because some of these, I mean, they're
so
bizarre.
funny.
Like, when you are with him, order your steak rare.
Why?
Why? Why is that more attractive?
It makes me think of that bullshit because I mean, obviously this is old school, but like when did that one book come out? The Rules or whatever? Was that like in the 90s or something? And it was just like
The rules
all
of
this
dating
like
or whatever?
fucking like bullshit about like how you have to be or whatever, like what kind of woman you have to
That's
be
so
to
fucking
get
obnoxious.
a man,
So dumb.
and all that stuff is just so ridiculous that we have to like mold that we even need a man in the first place.
Right.
Offensive. B, that we need to mold ourselves into some sort of game playing back and forth.
Oh, I mean, and some of these,
Image.
Yeah.
some of these things on this list were like very manipulative. Like, some of them were like, don't try to change him, at least not until you're married.
Oh, right.
Like, some of these were just like,
Gee, thanks.
mold yourself to be exactly what he wants you to be, and then once you get married, you can do whatever the fuck. And that's not fair to anybody.
Anyone.
No,
It's not fair to you or him, because you've just trapped him into marrying someone he doesn't know at all.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I'm telling you, it's so weird. Now that I'm like online dating, I get all kinds of ads and shit on my social Network and when I'm up on like YouTube and stuff, it's like dating advice. And if you've ever watched one of these videos from a guy, like there's one called like Matthew Hussey or something like that, and he's like this super attractive guy that's like, ladies, let me tell you, this is how you have to get a man. He's like, all these.
Does he
different
talk like that? Because I want to punch him in the fucking
he's
nose.
Like, I don't. I'm terrible at accents, but I don't know.
She's like, he's Australian.
You're like, no, he definitely sounds just like that.
He's like Australian or British or something, and yeah, he's just like talking through like how these games you have to play. And here's what's fucked up. I'm like,
who has the time? Dude?
Who has the time? And what bums me out with online dating is like, you kind of do, like at a certain point, like you have to play this like weird game, which is, it just sucks. It's like
it's stupid.
You can't really come at it like yourself. Because how do you learn who someone is through text anyways? It's such a weird paralanguage at best. It's there's no context. There's no.
I propose that we go back to having like organized social events. Mm-hmm. Where people can meet in person.
Yeah.
Because I feel
Speed
like
dating.
I understand, or even more old school than that. I don't think all the old school shit was terrible. Like I think like, and it sounds so cheesy, but if I was single, I would be so open to going to like a social.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like if they were like, oh, we're having like a social at this
Meet and
thing and
greet.
we'll be dancing and food and like the community can come out. I would be so much more open to meeting someone like that.
I kind of feel like dating is almost like getting a job in a sense that like,
it's an interview.
my resume is like, it's fine or whatever, but if I get an interview, I land the fucking job.
Right.
It's just all about if I want the
person.
job. But
Right.
yeah, I'm like, the social thing would work for me. But
yeah, I'd be very bad on dating apps. I just know that I would be terrible on dating apps.
Yeah.
Ladies,
no, it wouldn't work.
In this past year, I've been on over 60 dates.
Wow.
Holy fuck,
Which
dude.
Which shocked Handyman. He was like, what? I was like, there's some weeks that I don't go on any dates. There's some that I just go on one. And there's been a couple weeks where I go on like 2 or 3.
Sure.
So out of those 60 dates in a year, some of them have made it onto this podcast. You guys know from listening to them. Most of them, the vast majority of them are just like, great. Okay. Like, it's not going to work.
Fine.
This was fine.
Yeah.
This is fine.
I really feel like that's 2018's like slogan. It's just like
this
is fine.
fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Like
And honestly, there have been like 3 that have been great.
Right.
3 out of 60.
Yeah.
I don't like those odds.
That's not
Yeah.
good odds
No.
for online dating. So that's all I've done this past year
And-
is gone on dates from online dates, and 3 out of 60. That's
And if I do say so myself, you are an attractive person.
Yeah.
oh, thank
And
you.
You're welcome. And 3 out of 60.
Yeah, but it's not always about that. A bad date cannot just be because somebody's good or bad.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like you were able to like go on. I think about what a superficial forum
Yes.
online dating is, right?
yes.
It's so superficial.
Right.
And if it's that hard for you, imagine how hard it is for people who are just like very average or just trying to be themselves or not trying to play these games.
Yeah, people are fucking animals out there, man.
It's terrible. It would be really
it's
difficult.
really fucking weird. It would be much easier to just meet in person.
Yeah.
And,
And
so-
let it kind of happen organically,
So, yeah.
naturally. Like,
I think this really as we go into this holiday season and we start round 2, year 2, I think I'm going to transition out of online dating. I mean, obviously,
You
it's
try
given
some of
us
those
some
things
great
on
I was going to say,
stories.
have you tried crying softly in a corner?
I've done it in private, but I'm now going to work that
Bump it
into
up,
my
bump it up
public
to
persona.
just
Have
add
you
up.
tried having your card break down in strategic places? That's
Oh
another favorite.
my God.
Like, what the
That's
Do
what
you
I-
want to get murdered?
I was like, did Ted Bundy write that one?
Yes. Like,
he did.
So scary.
My
What the
God.
fuck? Have you tried just hitchhiking? That's not on the list, but I'm like,
It
it
might
could
as
be.
well be.
Yeah.
It might as well
Yeah,
be.
you can meet men just.
Oh, my car broke down in front of your house. I'm a stalker.
I know.
So I think for this year, our listeners can look forward to hearing my adventures into like social outings, speed dating, friends. I'm gonna lean on Have You Met My Friend Christina?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'm pulling myself off of the apps. I haven't really leaned on the friend group yet. And honestly, I haven't done so because I haven't really been ready to date. And the last thing I wanted to do was like be like a shit girlfriend or a shit where you else. Eat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
Exactly.
Now I'm ready to eat like an adult. I'm ready to be like a grown up. I'm kind of ready to actually date.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
I did my
get your ass to soccer, girl.
Get your trial. Got your trial date.
I need to do that anyways. Yeah.
Which, look, if you go, maybe I'll go.
Okay.
I'll try. No promises. Anthony, I know you're listening and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Don't get too excited.
He literally listened to this immediately, like put his headphones down and jumped up in the air. If you went to soccer, his heart would explode.
I know. So don't get too excited. Calm down right now.
He's already texting you.
I know. Okay, I have a question for you guys that came out of this girl group that I am in because it annoyed me in an almost irrational way. Like sometimes I read things on the internet and I'm like, why is this making me so upset? It doesn't matter or affect my life in any way at all.
On this episode of should this make Keegan actually upset in real life?
Truly. I mean, I could do one of these per episode. Like there could be
am I overreacting?
Yeah, probably.
I think we all could at some point.
This morning also, like, on my other podcast, I just did an episode on catcalling, like just recorded one. And these girls, we were at a stop sign and these girls were like working out on the corner. Like there was like 3 girls like all like doing squats, like working out, like I'm sure they were doing CrossFit or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
There was a guy in a truck next to me.
You're not overreacting.
Yelling at them and being like, keep it up, ladies. And I'm like, they don't need your fucking encouragement, dude.
Or input at
all.
Yeah.
And I was like so mad. Like Anthony was in the car next to me and I was like, what the fuck? Like I was like so angry and he saw me. I think he could feel my eyes just like glaring into his like boring holes into his body. And he like looked at me and like waved and I was like I was just like I was like that angry that anger Pixar character in Inside Out. That was me in the car this morning.
What if he was really just like he's like a bodybuilder and he was like, yeah,
good job. I don't care. Keep your fucking thoughts to yourself.
But you're also flat like tainted by also having just that taste in your mouth of just talking about it.
And this guy, I'm like, after we drove away, I was like, why didn't I get the business he was driving for? Because it was a truck, like and I was like, I should have gotten that business and been like, hey,
it's all
you're
like
fucking
somebody's
driver.
gym.
Yeah, they usually have stickers on the back that's how was my driving? I should have like written that number down and been like, your driver. He was yelling at girls on the street. It's not okay. Anyway.
He's like, I'm the owner.
That was a sidebar. Well, I'm like, get your shit together, Jim. Okay.
I don't think you're like overreacting. It's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
not fun, though.
It's not
I don't.
fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's super uncomfortable.
You're not overreacting because even if he is like a bodybuilder or whatever, and all those excuses I made, there's no fucking reason for you to throw out your input.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're fine.
They got it.
They got
it, sir. Thank you, Captain.
Okay. Anyway, that was a sidebar. The other thing that made me irrationally annoyed today. I was on a girl group and this girl was like, guys, I need your opinion. How do you feel about your boyfriend or partner going out with, like, to go get lunch with another girl without you there? Mm-mm. And all of the comments, and this kind of maybe goes back to our discussion about like, can you be friends? Yeah. But all of the comments were so like, absolutely fucking not. Like he can't go out without me with him if he's going to be with another girl. He shouldn't even want to go out with.
See, and I would go out to lunch with Anthony and no problem.
So would I. Like that's the thing. Every time I go home, if I go home without Anthony and I'm in my hometown,
been to lunch, multiple things, dinners with Chris all by herself because I've been.
Yeah, I'm just like, and even outside of mutual friends, because I have gone home by myself to my hometown and met up with guy friends and been like, and they'd be like, hey, do you want to go grab a coffee, catch up? Because I haven't seen you in like a year or whatever. Has never even come up as a problem in my relationship at all. And the way I see it is like, if you are worried about your significant other cheating on you because he's sitting at a table with somebody else
in public,
then you don't need to be with that person.
Exactly.
Like you
That's trust
don't have any trust in your significant other, because so many people they come back and they're like, it's not about my significant other. It's about, I don't know these girls and like, what are they going to try? It doesn't matter what they're going to try. If your significant other,
even if she sits on his fucking lap, hopefully you're
push her off and get up and leave.
And
Like,
here's the thing. Worst case scenario, they do cheat on you. And then it's like,
well, now
then
you know who you're with.
Yeah,
are you going to live the rest of your life
Yeah.
needing to know exactly where your significant other is at all times and being with them at all times?
Yeah.
Like, you can't live your life like that.
And hey, here's what's not a good look on anybody is insecurity.
Amen.
It's not a
agree.
good look on
So true.
anyone. If you are like imposing rules like that, like you need to live your life like you are the bad bitch that you are. And it's
Absolutely.
like every day I choose to be with you. I can choose not to be with you.
Exactly. I feel
And
the same way.
the same with the person that's with you. Every day they can choose to be with you. They can also choose to not be with you. But you need to be comfortable in yourself. You need to be comfortable being on your own. And that's what's going to stand the test of time. Does he want to go to lunch with like another girl? Go for it, dude. Like you got to know, like,
And if
you've
he's
got a
being
good thing
honest
going.
with you and telling you, like, honestly, seriously, if Anthony had a friend from high school who was like in town and was like, hey, I want to catch up. Can we have a drink after work? And he told me like about it. And sometimes I don't want to go out. Sometimes I just want to sit at home.
Sure.
I'd be like, go have fun.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it at all.
No.
Well, and that's the thing. And it's like Chris, that just happened recently. Chris had a friend from Shadowbox who was in town, Megan.
Oh, yeah.
And she was in town, and like he had already messaged at some point like, hey, whenever you're back in town, it'd be great to see you. And so they went to grab cocktails and a little light dinner or whatever.
And you weren't worried, were you?
Not even in the slightest fucking bit. Not even in the
And you
slightest
shouldn't be.
bit.
And if you are, then
I mean, and
that
also he
shit's a
told me.
reflection on you.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they need to, like, obviously, I would want to know that that's what you're doing.
Even if I
that's-
found out like a
that's
week
when-
later after the fact, I still wouldn't even. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, no
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah.
You know, like it's not
because
like
I know that he's not going to
he
do
didn't
anything.
call to ask permission
Yeah.
first, and he shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
And he just, who gives a shit?
Yeah, agree.
And I'm sorry,
so agree.
if you're that stupid that you would cheat on me.
See,
Excuse me.
that's what a bad bitch is.
Yeah,
right there.
you know what?
That's
Because
the thing.
Fine, okay.
I'm sorry, lottery winner. You really think you don't want to have all your money? Okay, I mean, like I'm a win.
I think
I get it.
I feel the same way. I think that I think it's attractive and sexy when the person that you're with is just like, I know that I can do it on my own.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know that I'm worth being alone if it's worth my self-respect. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
Insecurity is not sexy.
yeah. And so I'm like, I'm not worried about it. If you want to go off and like make that mistake,
Good for you,
then
bro.
that's going to be on you.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta
your
live with it.
loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
100%.
So
And
I don't know.
honestly,
It
I
made
feel
me
the same
so
way
mad.
about Chris. Chris is a strong, independent guy. He
Yes.
could do it without me too.
Yes.
And that's fucking sexy.
Yeah.
That is.
Agreed.
It is. It's so not hot to be with somebody that like needs you.
Yeah, you're
Do you
like,
know what I mean? You're like,
Yeah.
where you feel like your their happiness or whatever is like
You can't be that
relies
person.
on you. Yeah.
And I
it's
just
so
think it's
not hot.
also the other part of that, which is like a different subject, I guess. But like, I also just don't think it's realistic either to think that the person that you're with is never ever going to find anyone else attractive ever
Right.
again.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's
That's
like-
just not how it works.
Yeah.
Relationships are about like loyalty and love and commitment.
Right.
And like, if you have that, then the rest of it shouldn't, because the girls in this group too, like they get like so upset if like my boyfriend told me that he thought that Katy Perry was hot. And I'm like, calm the fuck down.
I think
Like,
there's a little bit too about like age. I mean, like I said, I just shared that story. Maybe it's not up on the shorties yet, but about how insecure I was in my like early 20s.
That's
there's
true.
there's something that comes with like, 18, 19, 20, 21. There's a little those insecurities that you're still
You are right
feeling
about that.
when you become an adult, whereas like once you hit the hump of 25, 26, 27, 28, you get a little more comfortable in your skin. You start to become that
I may
person
not
who's-
be
I don't know.
being as understanding as I should be. You are right about that, because I am certain that
Age
when
has
I was
something to
young,
do with it.
absolutely.
And it's just like a complaint that you actually made recently on your Facebook, which is it's people constantly like, oh, millennials are lazy. And I know, because that pisses me off too. And, because the same thing, it's no, millennials aren't fucking lazy. You're also talking about a group of people at the time who were like 19 to 21. And they are, yes, very selfish, but everybody, you were fucking, when you were 19 to 21, you were
Yeah,
too.
people-
well, and they're
people
still
said the
selfish.
same-
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, baby boomers aren't less selfish
Yeah.
than millennials in any
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, people said the same shit about hippies. They
Gen
said the same
Xers,
thing
yeah.
about Gen X. It's just like, it's a generational thing. 19,
But I think
20-year-olds
it's
generally suck.
unnecessary. I think it's unnecessary.
But it's okay. That's when you're supposed to suck. You're supposed to suck
Yeah.
as a human at 19.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
mean,
when you're figuring
yeah.
it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and I think people give. Yeah,
God
that's a
given right
complicated
to suck at
question.
19 to 21.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was
Oh.
literally the worst human being.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I did human all wrong.
Yeah.
At that age. That's when you're supposed to.
99% of my shame receipts live between 19 and 21.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
absolutely.
you guys are right. Like, if I go back and I look at that post and it's all like 18-year-olds, then I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
Right.
They're
okay.
just coming from a different
If-
mindset.
I know.
All right, ladies, what are we doing for fuck, marry,
Oh,
kill?
that's right.
Oh,
Let's do, well, we kind of did a little discussion before because we are still like in Thanksgiving mode.
Yes.
Right? 'Cause this
Yes,
is coming
yes,
out the
yes,
weekend
yes.
after, or the week after Thanksgiving. And you did all the Turkey Town last week. We should do chefs, right? We talked about
Yeah.
doing chefs.
Yes,
Yes.
there's so many good ones.
So,
okay,
let's
what are
do-
who are we doing?
Gordon Ramsay,
Okay.
all right.
Guy Fieri.
Flavortown, Flavortown.
Speaking of flavor, Bobby Flay.
Oh God. It's
okay.
so bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I fucking got this.
All
and
right,
I
okay.
think you guys are going to be shocked.
Okay.
Oh my.
I might not be.
I'm going to fuck Gordon Ramsay.
Yep.
I
Ooh.
am weirdly attracted to
me
him.
too.
Same. I'm
Me
on the
too.
same.
He is monstrous to look at. If you're looking at him, like, honestly.
Don't break down those features.
But
Don't
you
look
know-
too close.
but-
Look too close.
To be
But
honest,
there's...
he's probably an animal in bed.
Oh my
yeah.
God,
Yes.
yes. You
Right?
fucking know he is.
Yeah.
I'm
I
going
just
to...
want you to take that anger out on me.
Oh,
Okay.
I do. I do.
Okay.
And you know he says some filthy stuff in
Yeah, he
bed, too.
does.
I'm like, that motherfucker
In
knows
that
how to...
British
know that mouth.
accent.
In
just
that accent?
yelling at you.
Hot.
Tell it to me.
Okay. I'm going to marry Guy Fieri.
Same.
Because let me tell you, he's not attractive.
No.
But the food that he cooks, that junk ass shit, I'm down for Flavortown.
You're gonna
I'm
be-
down for Flavortown.
You're gonna be a million pounds.
I'm going to be a million pounds. We're going to be fat and happy together. I'm okay with that.
I'm
You
a
can froth.
hairstylist.
You
I'll
can
bleach
frost
that
his
hair for
tips.
you.
Yep.
And I'm going to kill Bobby Flay because
Yeah, fuck
he
that
is
guy.
Fuck that guy.
such a dick. He
seems
is
like such a
such a
dick.
dick.
I think we're all on the same page
I'm
with
same.
Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nope. I'm with you. I was gonna say my instinct was to marry Gordon Ramsay because I've seen him on like what is that MasterChef Kids
I
or
know
whatever.
he's
Yeah.
really good,
actually
and he's
really
so good
sweet
with his own kids
to
and
the
stuff, too.
children.
Yeah,
So I bet you he's not as mean as he seems on like those shows.
Yeah.
but he's a workaholic. That's the thing that gets me
Ooh,
is the fact how
yeah.
many fucking shows and restaurants and everything that you're on. If you're married to him, you're never
No,
fucking
Guy
seeing him.
Fieri is going to take you on like he's got Flavortown restaurants in cruises and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's going to take you on
Take you places.
vacations.
Yeah.
He's going to whip you around in that like, sports car of his or whatever
he's like
he
the
drives.
Joe's Crab Shack of guys.
Yes.
He is
Yes.
the Joe's
Yes.
Where you're like, how secure do you feel if you're dating Guy Fieri? Because it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, here's what's up. Like, it's what
Yeah.
we talked about before.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like
probably like a
it's really
5.
fun to fuck a 10, but there's a little bit of like you always have to be trying because you're like, dude, I'm at a 10 right now.
Yeah.
I need to keep
gotta
my
up my
game
game.
level. Like you can relax
shave
and
your
have
legs every
fun
day.
and just be yourself with a Joe's Crab Shack.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you're just like. It's a
Yeah,
fucking
and
Joe's
also,
Crab
I
Shack,
feel like-
but it's
I
so
feel like
fun.
You can come cash.
I feel like Guy Fieri would also like allow you to explore new fun things about yourself. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know what? I never saw myself going out
Yeah.
in a completely bedazzled jean jacket, but like maybe I want to do
I
that.
never saw myself as this gal, but
Yeah,
hey,
maybe
let's try it out.
Maybe
Let's
I
try
want
it out.
feathered bangs. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like I
I
could
don't.
be okay. I don't, but I feel like I could be okay doing that with a Guy Fieri. Like he'd be like,
Yeah.
"You look great."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So-
it's just gonna be fun and relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I'm gonna gain 18,000 pounds, but it'll be fine.
So
Oh,
you
it'll
guys
be
know
amazing.
that the nerd in me has to tell you his name is Guy Fieri, right?
yeah. But
Sorry.
what a yeah.
Sorry.
I don't even
I
think
had
that's
that-
his actual name.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. And Chris and I had this conversation because he's like, no, it's not. It's Guy Fieri. And we pulled up like 50 clips of him saying, hey, it's Guy Fieri. Hey, it's Guy Fieri. Hey, it's Guy Fieri.
Isn't
it's
it
like
spelled with an R? Why is it spelled
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, it is.
But
it's Italian.
It's Italian.
You know, he was born in Columbus, Ohio. Is that the funniest shit?
See,
Oh,
now
meant
I
to
know.
be.
Even
Meant
more.
to be.
Meant to be.
I am on the same page as all three of you.
Yeah.
I'm down 100%. Gordon Ramsay, fuck me to Fucktown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down. Fuck me to Fucktown. Like, seriously. And then, because,
Yeah. And Bobby Flay's just the worst. I don't
The
think we need to
fucking
talk about
worst
it. He's
human.
the worst.
Yeah, all of his
Yeah. Nah,
food
screw
looks
him.
stupid. I've
He
heard
looks
like
stupid.
some nasty
I've
stuff
heard
about
he's
his
mean.
like divorce stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Wasn't
He
who was
sounds
he
like a
married
horrible
to?
human.
He was married to someone who was like beautiful.
Yes.
Who
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah,
She was on
beautiful.
like Law and Order. AJ.
Yes.
Oh, that's Criminal Minds. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
But yeah, I've heard he's
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
I
he's
heard he's
terrible.
terrible.
and every time I see him on TV, he just looks like a condescending asshole.
He does.
And I fucking
With
hate
weird
being
patronized.
patronized.
He
You know what I
would
mean? Where
totally
he
do
totally
that.
be like,
Oh,
you might want to try chopping the onions like this way, and I'd be like, you might want to try shutting the fuck up.
he would
like,
be the
I'll
guy
do it the
in
way
the
I want.
relationship who'd be like, I really don't like that on you. You should wear that one dress that. Kiss my ass.
You're talking about mansplain city
Oy
with
vey.
that guy. Like he's gonna mansplain the shit out of everything to you.
Just fucking know he would.
Yeah,
too.
you know he would. Oh
my
God.
God.
That's
Why
the
don't you
kind of
wear a
guy
higher
who
heel. You should really consider getting rid of that funky color.
really
If I
don't
want
look
your
good in
fucking
fuchsia.
opinion, I will ask for it.
and Guy Fieri. And
Would
Guy
never do that
yeah,
to you.
Guy Fieri would never do
Never,
that
never.
to you. He'd be like, fuchsia looks great on you, honey.
Yes,
You
he
need
would.
to wear that.
Yes,
like,
he would.
I just made up some mozzarella sticks,
Yeah,
and I'd be
you
like,
did. You're so hot right
Like,
now.
do you want some jalapeno poppers? Yes, I would.
yes, I do. Let's do this.
Also, you know how we talked about we should make a list of like people to propose to like to Queer Eye. I want Post Malone on Queer Eye.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
also love Guy Fieri on Queer Eye. I'm
Yes.
like, show
I'm
me
not
what you
gonna
can
lie.
do with this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
interested in
Yeah.
it.
Because I'm not gonna lie, he's not got a great look.
But I'm a hairdresser,
Terrible
so I
look.
could. I
yeah,
feel like
you can fix that.
I could wait
Subtle
until we're married
hints.
and then fix them just just like the 1958 McCalls.
Rope him in,
and then fix him.
quietly suggest maybe a darker color for your hair. Yeah. Maybe a more natural brown.
Yeah, maybe get rid of the goatee.
Yeah, maybe. Let's try it. Let's just try it. Let's try
honey.
it.
As I woman-splain him.
You put that condescending hand on his like arm, honey, on his knee,
Let's try it.
sweetheart.
Sweetie.
You got to do the Sullivan nod too when you're suggesting things. It subtly like tells them
Yeah.
that's what they need to do. We're
Subtle
agreeable.
suggestion.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I like it. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I love it.
This was a fun one.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
that was fun.
Yeah.
And I actually had a
There's
very
some hot
different.
chefs. I like that we didn't go for the hot
Yeah,
chefs.
and we
Yeah.
had to. I think I totally when we were talking about it, I was like, I'm gonna marry Gordon Ramsay, but then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Guy Fieri's the right choice.
Yeah.
that's
the right
that's
choice.
the kind of life you want to live.
Yeah.
You know,
Fun.
fun.
Yeah. The
And-
20-year-old me would have married Bobby Flay. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe even
And a mistake.
Yeah.
It would have
Yeah.
been a mistake.
Yeah, it would have been a horrible mistake.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what divorce is for.
On that note,
But you are gonna have to take care of Guy Fieri. Like, make sure he doesn't have a heart attack.
Oh
on
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
might try keto with him.
Yeah.
Try to make those
Unclog
nachos
those
keto.
arteries.
Keto nachos, keto chos.
Oh my God. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take 5 and then we'll be back with stories.
Yay!
Yay. And we're back. Ooh.
You got to jump on me.
I got you. And this is, by the way, my worst date
yeah.
podcast.
Welcome,
Welcome,
bienvenue,
I'm Christina.
Cassie.
Keegan.
You're halfway through it now, so that seems about
You sat
legit.
through an ad break, so I hope you know what you're listening to.
Man.
Yeah, so now you can differentiate our voices. Okay, so I'll go first because I've got the Crazy in Love this week.
Yeah, you do.
And I don't really so much have a story, but I did have something that I wanted to talk to you guys about because it's kind of a first time experience for me. It definitely is a worst dating experience.
I'm intrigued.
I want to talk to you guys about breadcrumbing.
What is that?
Okay.
Okay. So there's several terms that I've learned from online dating this year. Stuff like ghosting
Yeah.
or love bombing
Sure.
and
Love
shit.
bombing. I need to know about that one.
Yeah.
That sounds tragic.
Oh, I know about
And
love bombing.
Unicorns, which I didn't know. I was like, oh, unicorn. That's weird. Do you guys know what unicorns are?
I mean, I just
Are
thought
they
it was
just like your
it's
special
a mythical
person?
creature, so it's like somebody
No,
that doesn't.
when someone on online dating is looking for a unicorn, what they're looking for is a bisexual female to fuck
Aye.
them and their partner. So they're
Oh.
called unicorns. They're a unicorn hunter. That's what they're looking for. And when girls advertise on online dating that they're unicorns,
I think
that's
there's
what
got to
they're
be a
saying.
lot of accidents too happening.
So
on
many.
that.
I was gonna say, like, look, guys, this is why I should not be on online
Oh,
dating because I'd be
no.
like, I'm a unicorn, just meaning like I'm unique and special, and not at all meaning
You
like.
are opening a Pandora's box,
Oh,
my
no.
friend.
Oh, wow. Thank God
my
I'm not
God.
single.
So,
There should be classes on this.
well,
Yeah.
you learn the fucking hard way.
Well, this
Let
is
me
what
tell
we are
you.
now. We're now a school.
Get out your notepads.
And there's tons more, man, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
get into. And by the way, like any fucking guy that puts on their profile that they're sapiosexuals, that's a made up fucking word. That's not fucking real.
like
And you
attracted
look
to
like-
intelligence. Is
Yes,
that what that is?
it's made. It's the most ridiculous term I've ever heard. Like, of course you're attracted to intelligence.
Everyone
That's
is.
so fucking stupid. It's not even a real word.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
Oh, we got a trigger for Christina.
Ooh,
now we
No,
know.
I'm just like
Shit.
sapios. I'm like, you're an idiot.
I was talking to a friend who's dating too, and she's also turned off by like, I'm an audiophile, bibliophile. Like in your, I'm just like, can you just say that you like books and you love music?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Cut it out.
Get weird.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
Stop it. So let me introduce you to the term of breadcrumbing.
Oh,
Scared.
God. I know. I am too.
What breadcrumbing is somebody that you match with.
Uh-huh.
You start messaging back and forth. You exchange numbers. You're texting back and forth. Maybe you meet up. Maybe you don't. And then you keep trying to progress. You try to meet up or you try to take the next step. It doesn't happen. And so you're like, oh, is this person actually interested in me or
Right.
they're not?
So
or
they
whatever.
keep
But they
moving.
keep-
line.
They're moving
They
the
keep-
goalposts.
They keep giving you little breadcrumbs to keep you texting them. To
keep you on the line.
To keep you on the line.
They're keeping you on the hook.
They're
Yeah.
keeping you on the hook. Exactly. So that's what they're calling it now. It's like
Yeah.
breadcrumbing. And so I want to talk about, and I haven't really laid out the whole Detective Stabler story. So from top to bottom. We've mentioned him a couple times on the podcast.
Yes.
So now that it's definitely done, and now that I've had my very first breadcrumbing experience, I figured I would share it. And you know what? If you have one of your own, I'm a smart, intelligent, savvy woman who is growing in respect for herself and cannot believe that I was on the hook for as long as I was. But now that I know,
Yeah.
we'll be able to shut this shit
All right.
down soon.
Class is in session, guys.
Classes
Yes.
in session. So here
Professor
we go.
Christina is ready to
In-house.
break this shit down for you. Let's go.
Buckle
So-
up.
Stabler and I matched a few months ago. It's been a while. Because remember, I
Right.
posted forever ago about matching with a 10.
Yes.
And we texted back and forth, and it was nice. And we set a meetup pretty soon after that. Met up, had a fantastic first date, which I was like, holy crap, I bagged a 10.
Yeah.
Congrats to me. This is amazing. Texted me the next day, the whole thing. And then he starts doing the crazy sexting, which we've talked about.
Right.
Overly aggressive sexting.
Overly aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, please don't ever refer to my whore hole. That's
Nope.
just like,
No.
You've said that. You've told me that like 10 times, and every time you say it,
yeah.
I feel
It's
like
cringy.
I feel like my vagina closes.
I love dirty
Real
South.
tight.
I really do, and we've talked about it, but it's like that's really aggressive for somebody you've went
No.
out on a date with who
No.
you don't know their last name.
Ugh.
So
It
I'm
makes
not,
me
I'm
like
not down
full
to clown
body
with
shiver.
that.
No.
So, anyways, like I keep trying to push to like, are we gonna meet up again? Like, what's going on? Like, this is fun. Our schedules are kind of crazy. He texts every day, so he initiates contact. Hey, baby, how's it going? Like all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
he's into it.
Yeah.
Because he's texting
And you like
me.
that. Yeah. You like somebody who initiates
He's
conversation.
yeah, and, you know, it's not me like initiating it. I totally like put the ball in his court, and every day he's picking it up, and he sets
this
plans.
shit bugs me
Mm-hmm.
so hardcore.
He sets plans. We went on another date after the initial first date, and this was like 2 weeks later. So it took 2 whole weeks with one date like in between that we were going to go on that he had to cancel. So I was like, okay, but then we get together for a second date. And that was good too, but it was like kind of like low key. He didn't plan anything or whatever. It was just like whatever. But then he's still texting and I'm like, so then I start laying it down. I'm like, dude, like you're throwing all this sexting my way. Like you don't even know my last name. Like I think we're looking for something different.
Right.
I think we want different things. Like I'm looking to actually date and get to know somebody. And he's like, same. I'm totally down for that. I really want that too. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So then I keep coming around.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, let's get together on Thursday night. I'm like,
I feel
great.
the rage bubbling in me right now.
Let's have a date on Thursday. Let's have a date on Thursday. So to me, I'm like, if someone tells me that, then that means like
we're gonna go out. Yeah.
we need to go out.
I've penciled you into my very busy fucking schedule.
Very busy. Yeah. And so to me, I'm like, the next logical step would be like maybe Wednesday being like, hey, does 7 work for you? What do you want to do? Let's have a conversation about this. Not wait till like Thursday, 3 p.m. And I'm like, are we actually going out?
Right.
And I haven't heard from you. And so then I'm like, you know what? I'm done. He did that to me once where it was like Thursday came and went and I was like, okay, well, we're done.
Yeah.
And then he texts, he's like, I'm so sorry. Things got crazy, blah, blah. Let's go together. Maybe Sunday at 3.
0.5 seconds to send a goddamn text message.
Yeah.
And say like,
I don't like
hey,
that.
so sorry. Tonight's not going to work for me. Something came up. Can we reschedule?
Right.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
So simple.
So my ass lets this go on until literally like the end of last weekend. We were supposed to go out on Sunday and I laid it down. I was like, I did the whole thing again where I was like, okay, we can go on a date, you know, because I'm actually interested. I like you and I would like to sit down and talk with you and get to know you. And he's like, same. I'm totally down for that. Let's do that Sunday. And I'm like, great. Okay. Ball's in your court. Tell me when and where.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm putting the responsibility on you.
I'm totally down for that. And I was like, cool, prove it. Winky face. Sunday comes and goes. Fucking nothing.
No.
Do you know this motherfucker texts me on Monday and is like, so sorry, had a shitty weekend. And I just said, sorry. That's all I said.
No.
And
that
was it.
Yeah. That's it.
You know what? I think part of it might
I was
be.
like, that answers. I said, sorry. And then like right under that, I was like, but that answers that.
Yeah.
And then we're fucking done. You know what I mean? Like you fool me once.
Yeah.
But I let it
exactly.
go too long. But I'm like, this
Never get
motherfucker
fooled
had
again.
me like on the back burner or whatever.
Well, I think it's a couple of things. I think it's like, one, it shows you're not a priority.
Right.
And if
Clearly.
And if in the beginning stage of a relationship, like they show you how they're going to treat you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're showing him what you're willing to put up with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the beginning stages of a relationship, that's when it's supposed to be like exciting and
exactly.
fun.
You're supposed to want to hang out with me. You're supposed to want.
Right.
But
So if you
breadcrumbing
don't-
is interesting because it relies on the texting and the messaging
Sure.
or whatever, which is the least amount of work that you could do to keep a bevy of
But
people
I also wonder,
at beck and call.
because he is like, you're like, he's a 10. You know what I mean?
He's
I bet
very
you
attractive.
he's so used to
Just doing whatever he wants.
and women being the ones to be like, hey, following up, are we going to do this thing?
Yeah.
What if we meet at this place? Because they're so eager to want to like be with him.
Right.
Yeah,
That
and I'm like,
you're not going to do that shit.
No.
And like,
I
Good for
put
you.
the ball
And
in
nor should
his
you.
court
No.
to be like, you know what, you want to date me? Like put in literally the least amount of effort.
Smallest amount of effort.
I mean, look what I got today. I had a guy literally like confirm with me like yesterday that we're
Pick a
hanging
place.
out. He picked the place, he picked the time, like all this stuff.
And guys, listen, this guy, Christina went out on a date with him last week, showed up on time. I know.
First of all, pause right there.
I know.
On time.
On time.
Did your panties just fall off of your body?
Oh,
You were like, oh my
absolutely.
God, you said you were going to be here at 8 and you're here at 7:58. This is amazing.
I know.
And then paid at the end of the
Yep.
Oh,
I mean,
my.
what the hell?
I know.
When are you getting married?
Well, let's slow down. But he did get a date
Let's
too.
not get crazy.
He did get a date too. But yeah, the artist is somebody I'm definitely excited about.
Yeah.
But even I'm telling you, like this morning, waking up kind of hungover, late or whatever, handyman's like plunging my sink, shirtless before he's even had coffee, and I'm like,
wow,
they're showing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me tell
there's
you.
no reason to like waste your time with these fucking fuck boys.
Fuck
Ladies,
boys,
if you are
exactly.
listening, listen to this. Anthony took my car yesterday morning to get it serviced and get new tires put on it. Then he drove my car to work because we switched cars so he could do that, and had my car paid to have my car washed and cleaned on the inside.
Aww.
I didn't ask him to do
That's so
any
sweet.
of that stuff.
No, that's showing up.
That's
Yeah.
showing up.
Now,
That's
and-
being present for the person.
It was the chair.
It was the chair.
We're like, likely story.
No, I'm gonna pee my pants. It really was the chair. I swear. to
I know it was. I saw you move. I know it was.
Oh my god, there's nothing like a good fart sound to totally derail a serious conversation.
I know. We're talking about something so sweet. And it's just like,
But that's
but the good note is Anthony's gonna love that.
I
my
know
God.
it's actually perfect. It's
I
actually
hope it
appropriate.
picked it up
I
on
hope
the,
so too.
the microphone, or else people are going to be like, what are they
fuck just
laughing about?
happened?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, like,
God.
there's something to be said about like someone who's willing to just
Minimal
because
things.
he loves you, or he cares, not even love, but just like likes you, respects you,
Right.
cares about you,
Yeah.
cares about wasting your time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
God,
It
so
shows-
much
it
to be
shows
said about that.
respect.
Yeah.
Respecting
Yeah.
someone's time.
Yes.
Because it's like he doesn't know me, but it shows like the level of respect that he has for another human being, the
Right.
level of empathy.
Well, I think that shows how much
You know?
respect he has for himself. And that is important because if you know you respect your time, you're not wasting others' time. And that is something to be said. People who, and I always, I've said this a million times, we've had this conversation. Two halves don't make a whole. You need two whole people to enter a relationship.
Right.
Right.
And people who don't have respect for themselves, don't, treat themselves well, they're not going to treat you well. And that behavior is not changeable
Right.
until they're at a place where they.
So it's obvious,
Yeah.
like, he's just literally like texting a whole bunch of people and seeing what his best option
Right.
Yeah.
are, but also keeping like a bevy of people on the hook. And
there
I'm
was-
like, that
not me.
There was
It's
some
not me.
stand-up guy who was talking about that, who was like saying how that's such a problem in our culture today of just being like, before we had this constant instant communication, it was like now no one wants to commit to anything. Everyone's
Right.
kind of like maybe about
Mhm.
everything because they're keeping their options open to see
Right.
what maybe a
Yes.
better option will come up. And to me, what he did also is so offensive because it's like, I know all three of us sitting here right now are busy fucking people.
Right.
Like we have jobs that demand a lot of time. We also have other projects
Yeah.
going on that
Yep.
demand a lot of time.
the band.
Yeah, which by the way, quick sidebar, guys, if you're in LA, Christina is in a band. That's an amazing band.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
And they're playing.
And they are playing on December 7th.
Yep, at Silver Lake Lounge.
Yes.
You can go to
We'll be there.
modernbronzemusic.com for tickets.
Yeah, and we will put
Yeah.
that in our show notes so that you guys can find that.
sweet.
Yeah, no,
And
you
honestly,
deserve
you
to
guys-
have that shout out.
No, because your shit is so fucking
so
good.
good.
And I'm not
Thank
just
you.
saying that because I'm your friend. And I'll tell you this, like, of course I listen to your music in front of you, but I've full on, Chris and I be in the car. He has it in like a couple playlists and it like just comes, I'm like, fuck, I love this song.
No, it's good.
It's
You've
so
got
good.
such good music.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
so if you guys want to come out and not only like get to watch Christina perform, which is fantastic, but
Yeah.
also meet us, come out to that show. We'll have details in our show notes and we'll share it on our social media too.
Awesome.
But to get back to that, it's like you're busy,
Yeah.
right? You have
Yeah,
a band, you have a podcast, you have a job, you have animals, you have bills to pay. You're busy, and you have. I know for me, whenever I am trying to schedule my week out,
yeah.
it matters. Like you're rearranging things. It
Yeah,
determines when
exactly.
you are going to be able to record, when you're going to be able to have band practice. it alters other parts of your life. So it's so disrespectful when someone, when I've made that time in my schedule for you and you mess with my schedule because it makes me have to shift other things in my schedule. Yep. You know, so
look,
it's just a lack of respect.
Something comes up.
That's different.
But it's a pattern of one. It's two. It's just like, that is so not what I need in my life right now in any way. I've just now, a year in, start coming to value myself, value my time, and know that I'm worth being a priority to somebody, that I fucking matter, you know? And so for you to fucking like string me along like that, it's just like, what made me proud is that I think a year ago I would have been okay because he is so attractive or whatever. I'm like, okay,
you make exceptions,
and you make excuses for someone else's shit behavior. And it made me proud that at a certain point I was like, this is what I want. I gave him a second chance, which, you know, now in the future, I'm just like, but I am a second chance kind of person.
I think I think second chances are fine.
There's not a third.
There's not a third. Yeah, you can't beat yourself up about a second chance because you never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
Always give people the benefit of the doubt.
For sure.
I mean, and I fucked up before, and I've been grateful for second chances before. But if I get a second chance from someone when I know I've messed up,
you're there 110.
They're 110 because I know that I've already wasted your time, and I feel terrible about that.
Yeah, like, that is not what happened.
Right. You know,
fuck.
Yeah. So
this
goodbye.
Guy. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
All right, who's up next? But now you guys learn. I have to learn other terminology for you guys. I'll have to write them down. But
we should have an encyclopedia of like these terms because I mean,
so everybody knows ghosting, but like breadcrumbs.
I'm
unicorns.
legitimately concerned about it because I'm like, I would so easily wind up. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go on a date with a guy. I have unicorn in my profile, and then I show up, and it's like a guy and his wife, and I'm like, what? What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm afraid.
I know. Abort. Abort mission. Okay. So our email comes from the one that I'm going to read comes from Amanda from the Blunt Mommy podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Blunt Mommy podcast with Amanda. She is her show is relationships, sex. She talks about all kinds of shit. And she is definitely NSFW. So beware, ladies and gentlemen. She's a hoot, though. And she shared this story with us. And so she starts out, my struggle was typing in the email address right. Yeah, I'm intoxicated.
Nice. Yeah, we've been there.
Girl, listen, we can't relate.
Yeah. Totally been there. She says, I met this guy on Tinder, super cute, charming. We texted for a week before we met. He decided he wanted to meet at a bar by my house one evening. Cool. I show up to Superior and he's almost done with a margarita. If you don't know, Superior margaritas are insane. They get you drunk quick.
Sounds fun.
This is also too, I think, like a regional thing. She lives in Louisiana. I think Baton Rouge, if I'm not mistaken. So it sounds like this is like a local place that has.
Guys, I really want to do a show in Louisiana.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be very fun.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. Yeah. So, anyways, I get a margarita and we get to chatting. Everything is super cool until he asks me about religion.
Great first date topic.
Yeah.
And if, by the way, if it's something that's really, really, really important to you, which I totally understand and respect,
put it in your profile.
Put that shit in your bio. Yeah, that needs to be in your bio. If
be
it's
on
that
Christian Mingle, motherfucker.
Right. Or just say that if you need to marry a Christian or you need to marry someone who's Jewish, that needs to be in your bio.
This is important to me. Yeah.
No shame.
But exactly.
Put it in your bio.
Put it on Front Street.
Yep.
She's like, I'm not going to lie to him. So I told him I don't believe in anything. He goes to take a bathroom break with his margarita, by the way.
Sir?
Okay.
Are you okay?
Don't bring your drink into the bathroom. You're not coming back.
No.
She goes, I call him after 5 minutes. No answer.
No.
I text him. Nothing. I look on Tinder and he has blocked me. So he ditched me and left me with the bill.
And took his margarita.
He's like,
I'll be right back.
He's like that character. He's like that character in Jurassic Park. Have you guys seen that part in Jurassic? There's a part in Jurassic Park where like the dinosaurs are like running towards the people, and they're at a restaurant, and there's people have zoomed in on this guy. There's this one guy extra in the movie who's like running from the dinosaurs, and he picks up both of his margaritas.
Isn't that Jimmy Buffett?
Like, is it? I don't know. It's so
it is.
funny.
Hey, Chris, do you know what we're talking about? Is that Jimmy Buffett? I think it is, isn't it?
It is the funniest thing.
I think it is.
He's just like running from a T-Rex.
I think that's kind of like the inside joke. I think that's Jimmy Buffett.
That is hilarious.
Now we got to look.
But yeah,
we'll
it's like this guy. Okay.
That's so funny.
He was like, I'm not leaving my margarita.
But I totally know what you're talking
but
about.
I'm leaving you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Run into the bathroom real quick with my full margarita.
He ordered a new one right before. He's like, can I get one more margarita? And then I have to pee.
She's got the tab.
Yeah. So he ditched her with the bill. I told the manager I was not paying for his shit. The manager wanted his contact info. I obviously happily provided it. The manager also wanted to know where he worked. He wore his work shirt, so the bartender spat that out. I didn't have to pay for his shit, and we never spoke again. Worst date ever.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if
I
it's
fucking love
literally that fucking important to you that
shit.
you're gonna ditch someone, then you absolutely need to
Also,
put that on your
what
profile.
religion are you? Because it's definitely not quote unquote Christian behavior to abandon a woman at a bar with the bill.
Right.
What the hell is that?
Number 7 or
I
something?
guess he wasn't
Thou
wearing
shalt
his-
not steal.
I guess he wasn't wearing his WWJD bracelet.
I know
that
he
day.
didn't
No
know. He
shit.
didn't have that reminder to
remi-
look down at. Well, I like the way that the manager and the bartender handled that because
Right.
I mean it sounds like she paid for her stuff and they were like,
which is
"Don't
all
worry
you're
about
obligated to do.
it. Mhm. We'll
Ever.
find that guy."
Wow.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell a story from memory. So God help me right now.
I love it.
My coworker listened to our Tacos on Tacos episode, and she was like, "I have a worst high school date story." And I'm going to tell it to you for Christina. And I was like, all right.
Yes.
I know
Yes. Thank you.
it's your favorite thing of all time.
It is.
So she was telling me the story. She was like, I was in high school. I think she said she was like 16 or something like that. And she'd had this kind of flirtation with this guy who was from another school, but they had like mutual friends in common. So they would like see each other every now and again. You can feel those feelings right now, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
kind of like knowing that you're going to like see this guy or whatever. And at one point he asked her out, and he asked her out to a he's like, let's go to a party.
Okay.
And it was all new people because it was a different school. It was like
Sure.
a house party, but like full of like people
Feeling all
from that
this.
school.
Yeah.
So she was excited. He picks her up. They go to the party, and he's the only one there that she knows, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he doesn't bother to like introduce her to anyone. He kind of is like making the rounds, and she's kind of standing alone, which is all things also that we can relate to. It's
Yeah,
in like
how
so
awkward are we
awkward.
as
Yes.
like teenagers?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't feel confident enough to like go and talk to anyone on your own.
Right,
She
right.
wasn't drinking at the time. Alcohol can sometimes make you braver.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
like,
looking for the friendly face in the room at least at
Right,
that point when you have
right.
a couple cocktails in.
you know, so she's a teenager, sober,
Yeah.
kind of left alone at this party.
Yeah.
Okay.
While he's like wandering around doing whatever. And so at one point, he takes her to this kind of like bench behind like a gazebo. And she's thinking like, okay, we're going to have like maybe some time together, like
Right.
sitting at this bench behind this gazebo. That's there's no one back here.
Yeah.
We can like talk and get to know each other, whatever.
They're going to Flavortown.
Yeah, maybe. And then he sits her down on the bench outside the gazebo and is like, yeah, you stay right here. I'll be right back. And leaves her there.
Okay.
And so she's like, nowadays,
a
I would have been
girlfriend.
like, goodbye. But
Yeah.
at this point, you know, when you're 16, you're like, okay.
Okay.
Like, what else are you going to do? So she just sat on this bench, and she's like, I don't know how long I was sitting there. She said it felt like it was like
An
2
eternity.
hours. But she's like, I know it wasn't that long, but
But
long
still,
time.
Yeah.
This is time before cell phones. It's not like you're sitting there scrolling through Facebook
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like, you know, the late 90s or the early 2000s.
Oh my God.
And she gets up eventually, and she goes to find him. He is talking to his ex-girlfriend.
I knew it.
He was sitting there talking to, and she doesn't know anyone. So at this point, she's like furious.
And he's brought her there.
He's brought her there. It's like the next town over.
He totally did it to make his
Right.
ex-girlfriend
Absolutely.
jealous.
Absolutely.
You piece of shit.
Yes. So
you fucking breadcrumbing piece of
you
shit.
asshole. So she goes back. She's like, doesn't know what to do. She's mad. And she's like, so what do I do? I go back over in a huff and sit behind the gazebo because I'm like, I don't know what to do. So she's just kind of sitting alone, which just my heartstrings because everyone has been in that situation where it's so awkward. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And as she said, eventually some people came up to her and they were like, did you come here with someone? Because obviously she looked so lost that
she was
they were
crying
like,
softly in the corner.
she was crying softly in the corner.
And it worked.
It did work.
McCall's
now we
got
know.
something.
Now we know.
McCall knows what's up. McCall knows what's up.
So they came over and she's like, yeah, I came here with that guy, but he's talking to his girlfriend or whatever. And they were like, oh, honey, like, do you want to come with us to go get booze? And she was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So she went.
Sounds great.
She went with them, and she's like, they were the weirdest like group of teenagers. They were like strange, but she went with them to the gas station, and she's like, I assumed we were. I guess it was a gas station that would sell booze to minors, so they went, and I guess she thought, as I would think, as I'm sure all of us would think, that they were making a beer run, like they were going back to the party.
Sure.
Instead, they got the booze and then they like went to some random street to like sit on the sidewalk and like drink.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. This is high school, man.
Soups high school. Like, but I'm like, what? You have this random girl with you. Why wouldn't you go back to the party? I don't understand. But so they're like making conversation with her. At this point, she just wants to go home.
Sure.
She doesn't have a cell phone or any way to
And
like.
she's also now with these people who are drinking.
And she doesn't know them. Like, you know, and so they ask her where she lives and she's like, in this town, it's not that far away, but you know, in high school, it's like,
they
were
Next
like,
town over.
they're like, oh, so far. So they're like, we'll take you back to the party.
Yeah.
So they take her back to the party, and this guy comes up to her and is like, where have you been? I've been looking for you.
Oh, really? Oh, I wasn't sitting at the bench you left me at?
Yeah, precisely.
Sorry.
Oh my God, where did you go? I've been looking for you. And she's like, take me home now.
Yeah.
And he was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to go?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
absolutely. And she's like, no,
300% sure.
absolutely. You need to take me home right
Good
now.
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she got home safely, and like it was pretty uneventful, but it was such a high school bad date story because I just
sit on the bed. Oh my God.
And I just remember being in that situation. People who are younger than me, even by a little bit, probably don't really know what it's like when you're stuck in a situation at a party, like a few towns away. You don't have a cell phone. You can't just get an Uber.
Yeah.
Like you are reliant on the person who brought you there.
Right.
To take you home. Short of like calling your mom and being like, can you come
Please
get
come
me?
pick me up.
And that,
which, by the way,
last resort.
It is the last resort. But like adult me now, looking back,
fucking do it. Yeah. If you need to
I
do
know.
that, do it. But at the time, no. Oh my God. It would have been like calling my mom to come pick me up from a party where there's drinking.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, you
my
don't
mom
want to
picked
open
me
that
up at a
box.
party one time. Drunk. I was so drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That only happened one time. I was like stumbling drunk, and my mom came into this party, and I was like probably one of the youngest people there. I mean, this was like high schoolers, like seniors, and I was maybe a junior. No, I was like this was my 7th or 8th grade year. So I
Oh
was
my
young.
God. So you're like 13, 14
I was
or
a
something.
party girl.
Oh my God.
And I remember that day I was with my friend Lisa, and we actually ran away from her dad who was trying to get her. We ran. I have a scar on the back of my leg from jumping fences through this neighborhood. Oh, dude. And then, so we told my mom, I'm like, I'm staying the night at Lisa's house. Lisa was like, I'm staying the night at your house.
That old trick.
That old
Classic.
trick.
Classic move.
In what world we didn't think when Lisa's dad's trying to chase us down through a neighborhood, we didn't think that
He'd
at some
call
point
your mom?
that would link up, right? Yeah. And anyway, so my mom drove out to this country ass like party. Oh my God. And she was furious.
Oh, I bet.
Rain fire on the entire party. It was hilarious.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
you know what?
Now
but then
mortifying.
I wanted to die.
Yeah.
But you know what? As someone who's like, this is how you know you're growing up, is whenever you get to that point. When you're a teenager, you're like, I can't believe anyone would ever do that. And when you
I'm going to put that on my bucket list now. I want to go and break up a teenage
Oh, hell yes.
Oh my God.
I want to go rain, fire, and brimstone on a teenage party. That's how you know you're getting old, is when you're like,
I'm like,
oh, I'm going to
let's
tear
go,
this
let's
shit
go
down.
shut this shit down.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, same. But yeah, thank you so much for submitting your story.
That's good.
It evoked
feels.
all of
Yeah,
those like
teenage
high school
feels.
feelings.
I love
You
that.
know, being with strangers, drinking in a dark neighborhood,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
on a curb.
Oh,
so funny.
man. I can
All
see myself
right.
there. Yep.
You guys ready for this crazy in love?
Soup's ready. Yeah.
It is not a murder.
Oh,
Very
okay.
exciting. I like it.
This
We
is
may not know it
something kind
then.
of new.
No, I know, true.
You may not. You may. I got a lot of this information from a really great article from The Atlantic, and this really, to me, fits Crazy in Love. It also coincides kind of with the story that I told.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Okay, we'll set it up. Spring of 2016,
Oh, recent.
Missy Brandt emerged from a rough few years with a new sense of solidity. She's 45, 3 years sober, and just getting done with a stormy divorce. She's living with her preteen daughters in the suburbs of St. Paul, Minnesota, and working as a flight attendant.
Okay.
She's
Delta.
finally feeling ready for a serious relationship again. So she made a profile on ourtime.com, a dating
Aw.
site for people in middle age.
Yes.
Aw,
Yes.
So
sweet.
cute. Among all the duds, which I'm sure there were
A
plenty.
billion.
Yeah. The desperate and depressed and not quite divorced. Yep, that's
Yeah.
all of them.
Plenty
There's
of duds.
one guy that stood out. His name was Richie Peterson, 45 years old. He was a career naval officer, an Afghanistan veteran who was finishing his doctorate in political science at the
Wow.
University of Minnesota.
Sounds like
Catch.
a fucking win.
Yeah.
I'm down for all those things.
So Missy liked his profile and he sent her a message right away and called her that afternoon.
Oh.
On top of it,
He's
They-
like, our time is not very long.
So let's get on it.
we don't
While
have
they
much of it. So if we could wrap this thing up.
They talked about their kids. He had 2, she had 3, their divorces, their sobriety. Richie told her he was on vacation in Hawaii, but they planned to meet up as soon as he got
Oh,
back.
and they're both sober. So they're
yeah.
like, that's
a
good.
good fit.
I imagine we're not going to like this for very much longer.
Nope, you're not. A few days later, when he was supposed to pick her up for their first date, Richie was nowhere to be found, and he wasn't responding to texts.
This
Oh.
motherfucker.
Missy
breadcrumbing.
You better be dead.
Piece of shit.
pissed because she felt let down, and she felt pissed at herself for getting her hopes up.
Sure.
And so at 10, she sent him a final message. This is completely unacceptable. A few minutes later, she got a reply from Richie's friend Chris, who said Richie had been in a car accident.
Oh.
He was okay, thank God, but the doctors wanted to do some extra testing since he had suffered head trauma while in Afghanistan. So Chris sent Missy a picture of Richie in the hospital bed looking
Oh.
banged up, but grinning for the camera. And so she felt relieved
Oh, yeah.
and
Like,
also
probably really
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
So she finally does meet him in person. He is tall and good looking, a good listener, seemed eager for a relationship.
Yeah.
He could be a little awkward, but Missy was like, okay,
He
he
gets
had
his face right
told
now.
her
Because I know it's bad.
that
I
he
know it's
hadn't
bad.
been with a woman in 8 years. So she's like, okay, so he's a little inexperienced, but dating him was fun. He had a taste for nice things like expensive restaurants, 4-star hotels, and he always insisted on paying.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the
I
shoe to
like
drop.
it.
It's
He
coming.
had a boat at a nearby marina. He'd take Missy and her daughters out for afternoons on the water. The
Nice.
girls liked him. The dog liked him.
Don't
It's
get my
like
dog
this huge
involved.
thing.
I'm like, Snoopy,
you
come
break-
on. You're supposed to sense
Don't
whenever
you
somebody's
break my
shitty.
dog's
I
heart.
know.
Like,
They're dating for like a few months. Missy missed a shift at work and got fired. Richie leaps into provider mode. He's like, I'm going to take care of the bills for the next 4 months. Relax, take stock of your life, and spend time with your kids.
You know that saying about when things are too good to be true?
yep.
I have a
No
feeling.
shit. I'm like, this doesn't exist.
Right.
Ever.
Speaking of unicorns.
Yeah.
But the good kind.
The good kind.
Yeah.
Now, see, like, all this stuff is actually when Missy does start being like, wait, because he's like, you don't have to work. And she's like, I don't really want to be a stay-at-home mom again. But she did
would
take it as a sign that things were getting kind of serious.
My red flags would be up a little bit though, just because
totally.
I'm like, it makes me nervous when you want me to rely on you when we don't have
Exactly.
any real level of commitment established yet. Like,
So now, like, her eyes are open a little bit. She starts to see some red flags. Richie liked to say he didn't do drama, but drama seemed to find him. Got to feel as if every text from him was an announcement of some new disaster. He had to check his daughter Sarah into rehab. He had to put his Shih Tzu to sleep. He had lingering medical problems. And Missy was constantly having to drop him off or pick him up from the hospital. He was always canceling plans or not showing up when he was supposed to. And when Missy got fed up, like, why did I just get out of a shit marriage to get into a shit relationship?
Right.
Some new tragedy would happen. Like his mother died or he was in a motorcycle accident and she'd be roped back in. So one day in early August, driven by a feeling that she couldn't quite pinpoint, Missy took a peek at Richie's wallet. Inside was a Minnesota State ID with a photograph that was his, but with a whole different name. Derek Alldred. You guys know who he is?
Did you say Derek Alldred?
Alldred.
Oh, I don't know.
The wallet also contained a couple of credit cards belonging to someone named Linda.
Oh, I knew it.
Missy's heart sank. She had a nagging sense that something wasn't right, but these things kind of like sealed the deal. So she Googled Derek Alldred. Half a dozen mugshots of him popped up along with news articles with alarming phrases such as career con man and long history of deception. Missy sat down on the couch and read every word. He had done things like pose as a firefighter and scam hospitals out of drugs.
You mother.
He dated a woman in California under false pretenses and drained her bank account of $200,000.
He's doing kind of the opposite on her.
He had married a woman, pretended to pay the bills on their home, and then vanished after it was foreclosed on. He had posed as a surgeon, checked into St. Paul Hotel with a woman and her 2 daughters, racked up $2,000 in charges, and skipped out on the bill and the woman.
My God.
These are just some, like a tiny aperitif of the kind of things this guy did. So she just like feels sick. She thought this guy was a scholar and a war hero.
Yeah.
He's a total con job.
No way. Can't wait to post this
steam
picture.
coming out of my ears right now?
Right.
So I'm just like,
There is a little bit. Yeah.
I maybe might want to get that checked out.
But Missy is a bad bitch.
Oh,
Yes, she is.
Gas
Yes,
girl.
she
Yes,
is.
gas,
Yes,
gas.
she is.
She didn't get out of that shit marriage to have some motherfucker fuck her shit up.
So excited.
So excited.
So the thing that nagged her was the credit cards under Linda's name. So she thinks to herself, there's someone else out there being completely fucking
Yes,
screwed
girl.
right
Yep.
now.
Yes.
And it took some detective
Team
work,
up.
but Missy tracked Linda down on Facebook and sent her a message saying, you're probably going to think I'm crazy. And
What did we just say about make sure you tell,
Yep.
like, girls, sister solidarity, be
Sister
there for your
solidarity.
girls.
Exactly. So Linda gets Missy's message. She's in the house that she shares with Rich, her boyfriend of 7 months. Linda is tall and blonde and funny and had been going through a bad divorce when she met Rich on ourtime.com. And he'd seemed too good to be true. He's a Christian, a military vet, a fellow conservative. And on their first date, after the server set down their plates, Rich closed his eyes and said a beautiful prayer.
Oh my God.
And that's when Linda just fell like head over heels, smitten kitten for him. And within 2 weeks, he was at her house all the time. Yep. After a few months, Linda lost her job, but Rich made it seem okay. He found them a house to rent. She like
Exact same
in
story.
an upscale suburb of St. Paul, one that she wouldn't be able to afford on her own. And he moved her and her 6-year-old son in.
Oh no.
This guy has kids involved in this shit. Dogs are involved. This is messed up.
Yes.
How are these ladies losing their jobs though?
I know, right?
I'm like, did he do something
together? He must have been. His tumultuousness maybe led to a lot of like
missed
stuff in their
like,
life.
I
like
need you to come pick me up from this thing,
so I bet
and she didn't go to her shift and then lost her. Okay.
But yeah, recently their relationship had been kind of rocky. He started drinking a lot, and his constant trips to the hospital. Which he blamed on the persistent effects of his war wounds. Like, fuck you for pretending to be a military vet.
Also,
it's
that's
so disrespectful. So fucking terrible. So when Linda finally received Missy's message, she dismissed it as the rantings of a jealous ex. But after a couple of days, she finally like went in and opened the links Missy had sent. And then her first instinct was like, how the fuck do I get him out of the house?
Right.
Yeah, safely.
So, like, he solved that problem for her, announcing he was, like, in so much pain he needed to go to the emergency room. Linda dropped him off and then called the police on her way home. She sat up for hours, but she finally, like talked to the police and everything. This goes on and on and on. So I'm just going to, like, summarize kind of what happens, because that's the setup. Missy and Linda basically spend the next, like, 11 years working their shit, because it takes forever, because this article was just released because he is now in custody, thank God. The number of victims across the country, ladies, is staggering. He makes Dirty John look like a fucking amateur.
Shit.
We're talking millions of dollars. Linda bought that boat, by the way. She didn't know she bought a boat, but she bought a boat.
No.
Yeah. So that boat.
How do you even?
He's just like all over the place using pieces of all these different lives. And it takes, thank God for Facebook. Thank God for, because they basically start a Facebook group and just
start to untie the web.
But here's
contact us if you know anything.
Because he's dating those people and they're doing other charges on the card together, like Linda and him are like buying things and he's using her card and it makes it impossible for her to go and be like, this purchase is legitimate, this purchase is
because
not.
They don't know if you're telling the truth.
Exactly. So like that's how he's able to get away with it for so long, because he love bombs these girls.
But he doesn't know that they're like, these girls don't know that they have a credit card in their name together, right? He just did it.
No, like a lot of these girls are like letting him have it to use, like, go.
You need to run to the store and
get whatever. And so then he's getting their credit card numbers, and then he's like going online and buying a boat or purchasing flights
How would
to
you not
Hawaii.
See that come up on your charges?
A lot of these other
confused.
women though, like Linda, for instance, was like extremely like wealthy, so I don't think she was keeping an eye on things as much as possible.
God, I'd like to be so wealthy that I didn't notice a boat.
A boat, yeah.
Like,
I was wondering if he was opening cards in their names. That's what I was questioning. See, that's what I was
but
like.
See,
and then
that's easy to like get arrested for. What you can't prosecute really is like, we used this card,
right?
Or
we
whatever.
went out to dinner, and then there's also this, $5,000.
You just can't prove it's he said, she said,
right?
But the amount of women added up, and he finally. What is great is the sister solidarity. Like you said, they had a Facebook group and they banded together and they worked for years to like put the message out there. First of all, to try to stop him from doing it to somebody else, which didn't work. He kept finding people, and the list is staggering.
If you have no like moral compass at all and no problem with screwing people over, you can get away with this kind of thing for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Like if you don't care about ruining people's lives,
this
is something that it's like stalking, in that it's so hard to get anything done on.
Right.
It's so hard to get police and like law enforcement to pay attention to it.
Yeah,
and you can really do it.
That's the other thing that it goes into in the article is not only did they get a bunch of shade from their credit card companies or from their banks being like, well,
really?
Right.
they got it from police too.
Yeah. Like,
Who was,
you
like,
can't
did not
prove
believe
this.
him, or like, what do you want us to do? We can't prosecute. It's he said.
You're
she
dating
said.
him,
You're
so
dating
he
him.
lives in your house, or
Exactly.
like whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And meantime, like, you have Linda, who is stuck now with a house that she can't afford with her 6-year-old son. They're like, who he took $200,000 from. Real fucking consequences to it.
Yeah, if
And
you're a
she's- and the
sociopath,
shame
yeah,
that you feel for being like, I feel shame for being on the hook with this dumb guy for like 2 months, but I'm like, he didn't steal $200,000 from me.
you
know
get
what I
the
mean?
sense of that, like when you
feel
listen,
so stupid.
yeah, when you listen to Dirty John, like because on the outside, her
that
telling
woman
this
is
story.
not stupid.
No,
not.
she's not. And like that's the thing is like even for me it was frustrating knowing what I know about like domestic violence and like all of that like mentality, like what it is. Even for me, I had moments where I was like, come on, lady, like why didn't you but and I could tell that woman telling that story, and Dirty John had those thoughts about herself because it was like
and that's
She's like, I'm not
be
stupid.
so
How
hard.
did I get so stupid?
in
Like, how did I do this
hindsight,
thing?
it's like fucking there were a million red flags that like I should have picked up on. But when you're in it, these people are so talented at deception.
Deception, yeah.
Like they're so if you have no moral compass and like no conscience, you can just do anything. We don't think that way because there's a certain amount of like narcissism and thinking that like other people think the same way we think, and like I wouldn't do that to someone, or I wouldn't be able to live with that. So that other person must not be able to either.
Oh,
but
nobody could do
they
that.
are.
Yeah. So this guy's just a complete piece of shit, and he eventually trips up. They got him on something that they can press criminal charges for him, and the police credit these
finally.
women for keeping on it and for keeping such detailed records and for banding together and making it literally impossible for him to escape.
Never underestimate like badass bitches getting together, man. Like never underestimate it.
Yeah.
He should have been terrified as soon as like those girls started connecting.
Well, I mean, you think about it, there's a billion stories just like that happened like way pre-internet. It was so much harder.
Oh,
It was way easier to be a con man back in the day. I mean, there's a fucking musical about it. Isn't it Music Man?
Oh, Music Man. Yeah.
But I mean, the whole con man, it's like this unique
snake oil salesman kind of.
Yeah. But it made me happy that I'm like, that's something good about social media and the internet that's come together where you can band together to take down somebody that's a fucking piece of shit and who's preying on mid-40s divorcees and literally like ruining their fucking lives. I'm like, you're the lowest of the low. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough when you think about like everything, how hard we all work to like cultivate a life for ourselves, and to just for someone to just step in and completely cut that down is like horrifying.
Well, I can't even imagine like how it feels when you have children. involved.
Absolutely.
Like, man, awful.
Yeah.
Well, I love that story.
Yeah, I just thought it was something new since it wasn't like murder or whatever.
It's a fun change of pace.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
It was like the con man. You had got me thinking about like, because I thought about doing Dirty John, which is like an incredible thing. But,
right. Listen to the podcast, guys.
Podcast
Dirty John is so good.
And I just thought a brief summary of it really wouldn't do it justice. It's
No.
such a detailed, long story.
Yeah.
But this one, just if you want the deep dive, the Atlantic article on it is really detailed, really, really good. I definitely recommend it. His name's Derek Alldred. And there's like a bunch of different articles about him. If you want to know all of the details, it's definitely
I think
worth
that
the deep
motherfucker's
dive.
face needs to be plastered all
Yeah.
over everything
Can't
always.
wait to post it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like screw that guy.
Yeah.
Like
Beware.
I hope that your life is ruined. Like,
But
100%, because you've ruined multiple lives.
congrats to Missy, because really, honestly, she didn't really lose anything, because she was kind of one of the last in the string. So, she could have just said, fuck it.
Cut my
and
losses.
Cut your losses and left. But
Yeah.
congrats to her. And what I kind of praise her for is being like, no, you know what? Like, you're not going to do that to someone else.
Not today,
And really
Satan.
taking the time and the energy to like rally these women to like make him pay,
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
crazy.
guys, thanks for sticking it out with us this episode.
Yeah.
If you have any stories, if you have any suggestions on crazy and love stories that you would like to hear, we are
or
so
Fuck, Marry, Kills.
or Fuck, Marry, Kills.
Yep.
We are so open to receiving those in our inbox. So you can email us at myworstdatepodcast@gmail.com. You can also shoot us a DM or just join us on Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah.
Our Instagram is My Worst Date Podcast. Our Twitter is Worst Date Pod. Join us in the Facebook group. It is so fun. Seriously, like that list of like the McCalls
So fucking funny.
ways to catch a husband. If you want to read through that, it is hilarious. So join us in our Facebook group. We have a lot of fun in there. We also have a business page. And it really does help us if you guys rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend. Just
Tell a friend, yeah.
spread the word is totally awesome. And word of mouth is how independent podcasts grow. So please do that.
Honestly, it's been overwhelming. I mean, just to see how many people have already been sharing and like,
I told you I was at work yesterday and my boss like had somebody I'd never met before like come in and help us like do some like IT stuff. And when I introduced myself, he's like, "Oh my God, my worst date, Christina?" And I was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yes." So stranger.
I had a
so
friend,
awesome.
a guy friend from home. He messaged me on Facebook in all caps. I sent it to you guys in all caps. Was just like, "I love your dating podcast. It's so good," with like 4 exclamation points. And I was drunk last night and texted him. But I had already told him we were thinking of doing a show, and I said it again, like thinking of doing a show in Springfield at some point. And he was like, he takes pictures, and I was like, if you want to take pictures for us when we get there. He was like, "Yeah, anyway, I can help the podcast. I'd love to do that." And I'm like, "That's amazing."
Yeah.
We love this community that we're building right now. We're
so lucky.
We are so
Crazy.
lucky getting to message and talk with you guys, share in your stories. It's what has saved my life this year, like literally and figuratively.
Yeah. And
is
to think
having the
we
friends.
had to kind of talk you into this.
I know.
And it's honestly been,
it's been life changing so far. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being with us on this journey. We have a blast.
I love it. Thank you guys.
Cheers.
We're moving in a new direction, moving forward and moving beyond smoking. We are Altria, and our companies are leading the way in moving adult smokers away from cigarettes by taking action to transition millions toward potentially less harmful choices. As we move from being known as a tobacco company to being recognized as a tobacco harm reduction company, Altria is moving beyond smoking. Find out how at altria.com.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.